USS Indianapolis, the Lost Men of the Pacific. In the final, desperate months of World War II, the Pacific Ocean was a vast and dangerous place. But on the 16th of July, 1945, one ship, the USS Indianapolis, received a mission unlike any other. Her captain, Charles Butler McVeigh III, was given sealed orders from the highest levels of command. Even he didn't know the full truth of what his ship carried. Inside the cargo hold were the components of the world's first atomic bomb, the same bomb that would soon be dropped on Hiroshima. It was the deadliest secret in human history, and the men of the Indianapolis had no idea what they were protecting. The heavy cruiser left San Francisco under a clear blue sky, her engines roaring as she cut through the waves. The crew, 1,196 strong, were full of pride. They had survived countless battles across the Pacific. Now, they believed they were heading toward one last mission before victory. Sailors leaned against the rails, writing letters home, talking about their families, their dreams, their plans for when the war would finally end. For days, the Indianapolis raced across the Pacific at record speed. She was alone, no escort, no protection, only the endless sea around her. At night, she moved in silence, her lights dimmed, the stars shimmering above. Finally, on July 26, she reached her destination, Tinian Island. There, the secret cargo was offloaded. Mission accomplished. The crew relaxed. Some joked that they'd carried a mystery box for the brass. Others just wanted a shower, a smoke, and a few hours of sleep. None of them could imagine the nightmare waiting ahead. Captain McVeigh was ordered to sail to Leyte Gulf in the Philippines. Again, no escort, just a routine journey through waters they thought were safe. But beneath the surface, a Japanese submarine, the I-58, commanded by Mochitsura Hashimoto, prowled silently. It was just after midnight, the 30th of July, 1945. The sea was calm, the sky full of stars. The Indianapolis moved at 17 knots, her bow cutting cleanly through the dark water. Then a flash. 6 torpedoes streaked through the night. 2 struck the ship, one near the bow, another midship. The explosions were catastrophic. Fire tore through the decks, lighting the sea with flames. Men were thrown into the air, others trapped below deck as compartments flooded instantly. Within 12 minutes, the mighty cruiser began to list heavily to starboard. The captain gave the order, "Abandon ship." Hundreds of men leapt into the sea, many covered in oil, some burned, others clinging to floating debris. The Indianapolis slipped beneath the waves, disappearing into the blackness, taking hundreds of men with her. Over 800 sailors now floated in open water, scattered across miles of ocean. The night was eerily silent, broken only by cries for help and the sound of the burning oil sizzling on the surface. When morning came, the survivors realized the full horror of their situation. No one had seen the ship sink. No distress signal had been received. The Navy didn't even know they were missing. The ocean was warm, but the sun was brutal. Dehydration set in quickly. Some men tried to drink seawater within hours. They went mad, screaming and hallucinating, attacking their shipmates. And then came the sharks. At first, they circled curious, cautious. Then they attacked. They came in groups, darting between the survivors, pulling men under in a frenzy of blood and chaos. There was nothing anyone could do. They formed small groups, trying to stay together, kicking the water, praying. Some sang hymns, some prayed out loud, others simply waited for the end. For 4 endless days, the survivors drifted without food, without water, without hope. By the 3rd day, only a fraction of the men remained alive. The rest had succumbed to the heat, the thirst, or the sharks. And still no one came. Then, on the 4th day, a miracle. A Navy patrol plane flying a routine mission spotted something strange, an oil slick in the water, and what looked like men waving. The pilot, Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn, dove lower, realized what he was seeing, and immediately radioed for help. Soon, rescue planes and ships arrived, the USS Cecil Doyle among them. What they found defied belief. Men barely alive, skin burned raw by the sun, eyes hollow, some clinging to corpses of their friends. The sea was littered with debris, life jackets, and the bodies of those who hadn't made it. Of the 1,196 men who had left San Francisco, only 316 survived. The survivors were brought aboard, some crying, some silent, too weak to speak. Captain McVeigh was among them, exhausted, broken, haunted, but the nightmare wasn't over. In the months that followed, McVeigh was court-martialed by the U.S. Navy, accused of failure to zigzag, a maneuver meant to avoid submarines. Many believe he was made a scapegoat, punished to deflect public outrage from the Navy's failure to notice the missing ship. Even Commander Hashimoto, the Japanese submarine captain who had sunk the Indianapolis, testified in McVeigh's defense. But it didn't matter. McVeigh was convicted. Years later, tormented by guilt and the memories of the men he lost, Captain McVeigh took his own life in 1968. He was found holding letters from the families of his fallen crew. Decades passed. In 2000, after tireless efforts by survivors and their families, the U.S. Congress officially exonerated Captain McVeigh, clearing his name. The Indianapolis remained lost until 2017, when an expedition led by Paul Allen discovered her wreck nearly 18,000 feet below the surface of the Pacific. Today, her story is remembered as one of the greatest tragedies and greatest tests of human endurance in naval history. The ocean that claimed her has long since gone silent. But for those who still remember, the cries of the Indianapolis crew still echo beneath the waves, a haunting reminder of the cost of war and the price of duty.